Workouts with Old Man Live. We'll be starting here in a moment. When you come on, get ready to say hello. Get your questions ready. So glad you are joining me here today. Let me know where you're watching me from. Let me know how old you are too. Want to know? We're doing this live on TikTok. We're doing it live on YouTube. Both of those are at Skip LaCour, and we're doing this live on my Facebook page at Skip LaCour page. Make sure you're on all of my social media platforms. And make sure you visit my skiplacour.com website. All the questions that we're going to talk about today, your questions, there's a great chance that they're over on skiplacour.com. 20-minute video, half-hour video, really going into great detail. Get your questions ready today and get ready to get into the chat section so I can do a follow-up question with you. A lot of times, these questions that you have, they're really specific to your situation. I can talk in general, I can talk generically, right? But really, what really makes this platform really work is when I can interact with you. I can really answer your question. I know how important it is to you. So I'm going to give as much information generically so everyone can benefit. I really want you to benefit. So get ready to ask your questions and get ready to stay on that chat and go back and forth with me. Make sure that you follow me. Push the follow button over on TikTok. And thank you so much for all those likes. Thank you in advance. All right. So let's get ready to do this. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Workouts for Older Men Live. I am Skip LaCour. So glad you're joining me. When you come on, say hello. Tell me where you're watching me from. And when you come on, all right, tell me how old you are. Tell me where you're watching me from. All right. And ask any questions. Do I ever upload workout videos anymore? I do. Right, I've got a lot of workout videos. Check out skiplacour.com. Check all my platforms too. Right. Jones, great to have you here. Watching from Philadelphia. So glad you are here. Again, make sure you follow. So every time I upload a video, that you'll be alerted to the video when it gets uploaded. Make sure you're over on all of my social media platforms. They all offer something different. I'm on all of them. All right. So you might be missing something. When you're just on one. So make sure on all my social media platforms. And make sure on skiplacour.com, I post a lot of videos. There's a series of videos, so sign up for my email list when you go there. All right. Lando, hello. Aiden Washington from Ireland. Great to have you here. Lando wants to know, how do I get more veiny? Right? Vascularity, how do you get more veiny? That's all a matter about getting lean. Right, when you lose that body fat, the subcutaneous body fat, right, your skin is going to get thinner, right, and those veins will become more visible, right. That's a question that a lot of times when you ask, they talk about when you build more muscle or you do a lot of reps, and it's really all about being lean. I mean, that's as far as it goes. A lot of times when you're watching these videos, I know they can be confusing. They give you a list of 3. They don't want to just zero in on the one that takes care of 90%, right? So 90% of a lot of this is going to be nutrition more than anything. And when it comes to training, it's going to be about intensity, losing body fat, showing the muscle that you have. It's all about getting lean. That's all about diet, right? That's going to take care of the vast majority of your answers, right? But then, there are other factors. It might just be 5%, 10%. They get all bundled together like they're equal in 3 parts, where it's not even close to that. So, if you want to be veiny, you want to show those veins, you want to become more vascular, it's all about getting lean. And if you're already lean, it's about getting more lean. The comparison guy, thank you so much for the follows. Thank you so much for the likes. I come to you first thing in the morning. You're the first person I talk to every morning. I do this at 4 a.m. Pacific time, 7 a.m. I'll be here for a better part of an hour every single morning. If you are on TikTok and you want to come in part of the way, you want to watch the replay version, it's over on my YouTube page, and that is at Skip LaCour. Barbell skull crushers or dumbbell skull crushers? Both. Why choose one? Which one do you prefer? Right? They'll both work. I with any exercise, whether it's, I don't know, it could be alternating dumbbell curls. It could be, standing up in a hamstring curl position or dumbbell kickbacks. I'll always prefer to do the set where I'm doing both arms, both limbs at the same time rather than do one and do the other. I'll usually prefer to do it. Now, it's not that I never do alternating dumbbell curls or, single leg hamstring curls. But if I can do them both at the same time, giving them equal, that's what I'll do most of the time. I'll choose that over single limb movements. I feel like every time I increase my protein, I gain weight the next day. Says Food Bully 18. When I like 2 pounds, when I take men on a transformation journey, do a lot of one-on-one coaching. If you are interested in one-on-one coaching, reach out to me. I'll talk about ways to reach out to me during today's show. All right. The one thing that I do, because it's an important part of the process that you understand how the body works, how your body works, what this transformation is like. One thing that I'll do is have them weigh themselves every morning, right? Every morning and also every night. Now, I know all the different theories. I never weigh myself. I let the mirror tell me if I'm on the right track or not, right? I know all the different theories. I only weigh myself once a week. I don't get caught up in weight. I get all that when you know what you're doing, all right? But during the process, questions like this, like a 2-pound gain the next day, I think he's making the connection that if he eats, I don't know, an extra chicken breast or 2 extra chicken breasts, that somehow, which is really 8 ounces more food or whatever it is so many calories, it may add up into 2 pounds the next day. Well, that's not the case. It may seem like that's the case. It's not. So what I do is I have them check in with me, be accountable to the journey as part of immersing themselves in the process. No, I'm just throwing that number out, right? I'm just saying it doesn't add, the extra protein doesn't add the 2 pounds. It isn't like you ate 2 pounds extra protein that day above and beyond, and then now you're 2 pounds out. That's what I mean by that, right? But your weight is going to vary. If you were to weigh yourself every single morning and every single night, I think we all know that the extra couple pounds could be as much as 3-4 pounds that you weigh at night. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't gain fat. You didn't gain muscle. That 4 pounds is just how the body flows. I think most of us know that. But when you start weighing yourself every single morning, you'll see you'll be 2 pounds up, 2 pounds down. There's no real rhyme or reason, right? So if you were to track it over all that time, you'll start be able to roll with the punches and see how they average, because the weight doesn't participate that way. Actually, in most men's journeys to losing fat or whatever they are to losing weight, that day to day or even week to week, you'll see that you might weigh yourself and it's a good number or it's a bad number if you were to wait like every Saturday. If you were to see that weight on Friday, maybe it wasn't a good number. It's just one day, and it's not muscle and it's not fat. Right? So understanding how weight works through the entire journey, especially on a day-to-day basis, if you really understand all the different, how it goes up and down, it's not related to what you're doing and what not doing. It's not that you gain muscle. It's not that you ate extra protein. Well, thank you, Z. Thank you. I will keep it up. Right, guys. Z over on YouTube. All right. You're welcome, Foot Bully 718. Again, there's a lot of things out of the journey when you do this that you don't really get the short-term gratification or the short-term results that you might think, especially with short-term weight loss, all right, or short-term muscle gain. It doesn't happen, right? You look incredible, by the way, striving to look like you. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I do offer personal training. I don't do personal training in a gym. All right. I do a lot of online coaching, teaching, explaining, validating what you do well, uh, making the adjustment. Many times you may get it directional, it's okay, but you can't get to that next level. It's just your understanding of it that you're not getting from the videos. Uh, I provide a lot of certainty when you're on the right way, a lot of accountability, make sure your standards are high enough and you stay at those standards long enough so it just becomes part of you. That you know that this equals that, weight training, nutrition, what do you have to do so you stay on it. Many times men are doing things right. Uh, many many times men are doing it right, but they think they're doing right and they're constantly changing their routines. They're changing their diet. They have different levels of motivation, which creates different level of standards. They're not as consistent because of all the uncertainty, right? So when I take them through the journey, we meet every single week. We meet on a line. It's recorded, the calls, because I'm your personal teacher. So just think of all these videos, all this information. I take my 35 years of not just my personal experience, right? By the way, if you're new here, my name is Cour. I'll be 62 years old here in a couple of weeks. I've been doing this for 35 years. I'm a former 6-time national champion drug-free bodybuilder where I learned from the best. I went out and sought the best. I had connection with the supplement companies through being sponsored, being employed as their salesman, the best minds of the people who really love doing this the most. That's all I thought about for 15 years. What that does for me now is I can differentiate from all the different strategies of what's important and what's not. There's a saying that says, if everything is important, then nothing is. And that's certainly true when it comes to this uh, working out, building muscle, and losing body fat. Most of the information that you hear is not the things that really matter. It's exciting. It's different. It goes more than the same old training, build muscle, lose body fat. It's something new. It's something different. It gets views. It gets attention. Right? You can be the best coach in the world. You can be the best influence in the world. But if you don't say anything that draws attention, it doesn't matter how great it is. It doesn't matter if it could transform your life. So a lot of the fitness influencers are always trapped to talk about something that's interesting. They'll go in a grocery store and they'll tell you how oatmeal will kill you, right? It gets a lot of attention. But what you need, most men who I work with, they're in their 50s. Many of the men who I work with who are attracted to workouts for older men live, they haven't been training for the last 25 years. Right, they've been training for like maybe the last couple of years, even less than a year. But they're winners in life. They just haven't earlier in their life just didn't focus going to the gym and watching training videos and that type of thing. But they're winners. They built strong businesses and families, kids. That's where their focus went. A lot of them are just sick and tired of the way they look. They've been carrying around an extra 40 pounds. They want more energy. They're thinking about longevity now that they're older. They got friends who are dying, come with illness. Maybe their parents are gone or they're elderly. Now they're really starting to get serious, know how important this is. And that's great. Nothing you can do about the past, but here we are now. They're sick and tired, right? They're winners. They just apply their energy to working out. And I simplify the process for them, all right? So, so you're asking, let me do that right now. Explain to you how to get a hold of me. What I do every single show. I'll do this every single show. So again, I come to you live every single morning, and I give you the opportunity for committed guys who know what they want, right? And they're looking through all this. That information makes sense to them. Now that they're older, right? They're going, wait a second, maybe I can't train the way I used to. I can't eat the way. Just look at a carb and I blow up. Got all this joint pain. I don't have the time that I had when I was used to. Can I get this done in 3-4 days a week in the gym? All right. How do I get lean? Right. How do I use all of my time and energy? Like I talk about my willpower, focus, energy, time. But you're pressed. You got to have the elegant and efficient use. You don't have all day to think about this, right? You don't have all day to work out in the gym. Right? Can you do it now that you're a little bit older? All right. I use all that experience. All right. I use all that knowledge. I know everything that I use to simplify the process for you. You'll see, I might talk about interesting things that go in depth about mindset, about our lifestyle when we're older. But when it comes to the training and eating stress, I keep it simple and effective. I'm targeting you. If you're sick and tired, you're a little bit older, you haven't trained forever, and you're just rounding out your life. What you see in the mirror, it's not the image that you have of yourself. And now it's finally time to do something for it. And you're the type of man who does what it takes to get what he wants, right? If you're sick and tired, you're that type of person. You're sick of going all over the internet, hearing it from the young guys or even older guys. There's just so much conflicting information. You want someone to be your personal coach, explain it to you. Go on a 12-week journey, a transformation journey, right? You want to know if maybe a couple sessions with me can clear things up, finally get that diet down, but have an understanding of it, right? Reach out to me. And so what I'll do every single morning, right, is that I'll offer, if you want to reach out to me. Now there's a 2-step process to do this. Number one, text me. Just say, introduce yourself. Say, hey, I saw you on YouTube. I saw you on TikTok. All right, just introduce yourself to me. Text me a picture. A picture tells me 1,000 words. You don't have to take your shirt off. I mean, that's helpful. But if you're just in a t-shirt, whatever you have in your camera, right? I can tell by how lean your face is or isn't. Right? I can see by how much body fat. I can see by the density of your muscle. There's a lot of things doing this for so many years that I know about your training, right? That you're showing, right? Or not showing, right? You may be too hard on yourself. You may be too easy on yourself, right? A picture tells me 1,000 words of what you've been doing, right? Then go to talkwithskip.com. Go to talkwithskip.com. That's step 2. There's a questionnaire. I'll tell you, just filling out these questions. I'm using my skilled coaching methods of bringing out clarity, understanding, self-awareness of where you are and what you have to do. When you go through those questions, of course, you're getting your name, your age, your email address, your phone number, your height and weight. But I'll really get into what your biggest challenge is, zeroing in on what you believe your biggest challenge, what you've done, right? What you're trying to do with all this, right? So what I'll do, and it's usually about maybe 4 or 5 men every single morning. And then throughout the day, as I have time, I contact them throughout the day, right? I help you zero in on your biggest challenge or what you believe is your biggest challenge. All right. I have all that information. You've texted me. I have a picture of you. You filled out this questionnaire thoroughly. So I've got all the information. And now it's you and I going back and forth. Let me just tell you something. You're watching all of these videos, whether they're live, a lot of different fitness influencers. You're watching, right? You're taking all this information, but it's how you're processing it, right? Are you confused or are you overwhelmed? There is nothing. If this is important to you, there is nothing like one-on-one coaching. I don't text you. I don't send emails. I just don't just send you a diet and training program. That's the easy part. If you think a fitness influencer has this big lab and this training routine or this diet is so specific to you, it may be, but it's not as complicated as it may sound to you right now. Giving you a workout program and giving you a diet, that is easy. You understanding what you're doing, why you're doing it, your standards of what it takes to get to that side. Just, I've had a gentleman who's really committed. He came up with the belief, the standards that if he were to stick to his diet 4 out of 7 days, he would get to this very high level. Those standards aren't high enough, but he just doesn't know it. So he can live at those standards. It seems like it makes sense, but he's never going to get to what he wants at that level of consistency. I mean, it can help for somebody if their standards weren't the same, but I'll match what you want versus what you're doing, that your standards are high enough. Right? I may make adjustments to what you do. I may just validate so you can just move it forward with more certainty and confidence and not always look around and wonder if you're doing the right thing and changing it when it's working. You just don't realize it's working. I'll validate what you're doing right and I'll make the adjustments. But more important, I'll give you a time frame of when you can expect results. You don't just lose 2 pounds of fat when you do this in a sustainable manner. When you eat a lot of food to enhance the quality of life, just gradually lose the body fat. So if you think you're going to lose 2 pounds, especially if you think you're gaining like 2 pounds of muscle in a week, it's just not going to happen that way. So you can do all the work you can, but even a complete understanding of what you're doing. But if you don't know what to expect, you don't know how the body works, especially when you do it for the long run. Anybody can eat 1,000 calories. Most men have no idea how many calories that they're eating. So when I say 1,000, I don't even know what that even means. They think they know what that means, but anybody can do that for a month or two, right? And be really committed. But, it's not sustainable. You'll deal with it mentally, physically. The people around you will. You run out of energy. Your basal metabolic rate is going to slow down, and you're going to do all that suffering for nothing. You might not even be hungry anymore because you just shot your basal metabolic rate. So just cutting your calories, if it was that simple, there's a lot of committed men like you, a lot. They could eat 1,000 calories for the next 5 months if that's all it took to lose 40 pounds of body fat that they've been carrying forever. It doesn't work that way. It's not rocket science, but you have to understand how it works in the real time frame, right? And there's a lot of people will put you on a short term. They got to give you results. They feel that pressure. And as you get those short term results, well, I know I was on this diet before, and keto diet. I lost 20 pounds. I say, well, okay, then why don't you do that again? And why are you up 30 pounds from that 20 pounds? Because it was a short term solution. You didn't understand what it was doing, right? And it wasn't sustainable. You couldn't do it after a while, even though you got those results. What I teach men when it comes to training and eating and transforming your body, what it really takes and the time frame that it really takes when you do it in a sustainable, intelligent manner. Right? So if you're a little bit older, you got a busy, productive life, you're sick and tired. You're just going through this information, putting all this effort, not showing where it is, reach out to me. Reach out to me. Text me. I'll spend 10 to 15 minutes with you. And if you're wondering, well, how can I do that with everybody? Only a couple men. They don't. The men who I deal with, they don't want to waste their time, and they don't want to waste my time. So they wait until they're ready. So it's a joy helping them out, pointing them in the right direction. All right. So reach out to me, text me, 925-352-4366, the number on the screen. Then go to talkwithskip.com. Fill that question out thoroughly. All right. I got all the information I need. Then I will reach out to you. All right, let me answer some of these questions. Hey, thank you for the follow. Let's see here. Jade says, I do 2 tricep movements, dips and overhead extensions 3 times a week. Okay, that's a lot of training hitting that body part 3 times a week. Remember, it's not more, right? It's learning what you're doing and doing it more effectively and efficiently, that type of intensity. That's what's important. 3 times a week, that's a lot to hit that body part, right? Especially if you do it well, right? You can get more done with less effort, less frequency when you know what you're doing. I would work on that intensity rather than just doing more. It would be great if more was better. It's not when it comes to training. All right. User Raider 77, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you so much for the likes over on TikTok. Make sure you follow. So every time I go live about this time every single morning. Right. You'll be alerted every time I go live. Also, every time I post a video, you'll be alerted to that too. You're welcome, footballer. So I think this guy is pre-recorded. He doesn't answer anyone's questions. Well, guess what? Live. I'm doing that right now. Actually, I answer a lot of live questions. I'm doing this live on TikTok, on Facebook. I'm doing it live on YouTube at the same time. I like to give thorough answers. All right, too. A lot of times you guys are asking partial questions that even if I gave you the answer that you think is the right question, I can give you the right answer to the wrong question and throw you off. So a lot of times I'll answer your question and then I'll circle back around because what you're really trying to do is this, right? And so I really try to go into detail rather than just yes, no, right? Jay Lockie's on Facebook watching from the gym. Good to have you here, sir. All right. Yes, I just did talk to you, Food Bully. Eddie, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you for the follows, guys. Make sure you hit that like button, right? Like. It'll attract more men just like you. It gives me the motivation, to come here every single morning and provide some information and inspiration. It'll attract more men like you, Yosef. Thank you so much. All right. SGQ Motorcycles, thank you so much for the follow over on TikTok. All right. So Sick Bastard asked, may I ask you, can you gain some muscle while you're in a calorie deficit? Yes, you can, right? A lot of factors, how long have you been training? How much muscle do you expect? So if you do gain muscle while you're in a calorie deficit, what do you think that's going to be? Pounds over a couple of weeks, or is it going to be ounces? How about this? How much body fat do you have? Because if you have too much body fat, how do you even know that you've gained that muscle that you're after? Even if it's a realistic number, how would you see it when it's under the body fat? So how would you measure if you are gaining muscle and losing body fat? How would you even know? But the answer is you overload train. And here's the thing is, you can be in a calorie deficit, right? If you eat 1,000 calories, I would say most men here, I don't care how long you've been training, I don't care how overweight you are, right? How long you've been doing this, you'll probably be in a calorie deficit if you eat 1,000 calories. Here's the thing, you'll probably be in a deficit. Believe it or not, most of you will be in a calorie deficit if you ate 2,500 calories. Right? Most of you aren't eating 2,500 calories. If I had you eat 25 calories, good. This guy's crazy. I can't eat all this food. You feel like you're stuffing yourself. So your body is so conditioned to eat so little food, a lot of you. Right? So you can be in a calorie deficit eating 2,500 calories. You could be, right? And you could be in a deficit at 1,000 calories. One is definitely more severe. What if you were to eat that 2,500 and you're in a deficit, 200 calorie deficit, right? And you're doing that overload training. Yes, if you have enough nutrients right in your body, protein, carbs, and fat, you have enough calories, and you're training hard, you can gradually lose body fat and build muscle at the same time. Most men just don't understand how this all works. They think that over 3 weeks they should lose 10 pounds. So if that were to happen, you're eating so little food, right? You're in such a calorie deficit. You're not going to build muscle because it's not even enough nutrients to do that. So I guess the question is, yes, you can. You want to eat as much food and be in a calorie deficit. You want to be patient, know how that works, and gradually, it's not weight, but body fat over time. While you're doing that progressive overload, consistent training, yeah, you can build muscle, but you got to know what you're doing, though. Also, the longer you've been working out, the tougher it is to build muscle, but you're building muscle. But again, if you're not lean enough, if you're not under 20% body fat, whatever that means to you, you can't tell in the short term if you're gaining muscle. And like I said before, the scale isn't going to tell you anything. You got to know what you're doing. You got to have certainty what you're doing. And all of this muscle and the fat loss and how it'll reveal itself over time, right? If you know what you're doing, you're consistent with it. And I coach men so they just stick with it, because you won't see the change. You're doing all this work when you do it right. You're not going to just eat so little food and dump 10 pounds. A lot of times when men want to be muscular, even if they were to dump that 10 pounds, they're going to stop. Like, I'm losing all muscle. They don't understand the process. So they'll never make it to the other side. And again, when I do my one-on-one coaching and take the serious men from week to week to week, so they have this for the rest of their life. None of this confusion, none of this overwhelm. They know the clear path to eventually look the way they want. Because, like I said, many times men are doing this, they're doing the right thing. They're feeling better, they're feeling healthier, they have more energy, they feel certain about the diet, they're doing it right. I've convinced them how this really works. They're training hard, right? It's friends who haven't even seen them in a couple months who see them like 5 weeks into the journey and say, man, you are looking great. Have you been going to the gym? Are you losing weight? Looks like you're getting muscular, or whatever it is. Now, their weight fluctuated so much that they can't say, well, I lost 10 pounds. It's usually they kind of gained a little bit of weight, which wasn't fat, because that's what they should have been eating at. Then they lost the weight. So they're going, no, I'm the same weight since I started to skip. They go, well, you look amazing. And they can't tell, because the changes are gradual when you do it right. They can kind of see it. But in about 4 or 6 weeks, they've got all these people haven't really seen them. It just, they can't believe the change. But it happens so gradually. They don't know. The people around you sometimes they can't see it to even give you that compliment. And even when they do, the people who are close, sometimes you can't accept that compliment because you think they're just being nice. I tell you, doing this right, making it this right, have a full understanding. It screws with your mind. Most men never survive the mind games involved. It's not necessarily the most complicated journey, but it doesn't happen the way that men think when they do it in a sustainable manner. So they do it right. So again, reach out to me if you want someone to guide you through this process, help you have a further understanding. That's what I do all day long for men just like you. I do one-on-one coaching, whether it's one session. I got this great package. If you go to Solutions with Skip, 1 hour with me, then you can decide if you need more. Maybe we can get it all done in that 1 hour. All right. Let's see here. So yes, it may not be the way that you think it works out, but yes, you can build muscle and you can lose body fat at the same time in a calorie deficit. Rib, thank you so much for that follow. Same, bro. All right. Everybody doesn't need 12 weeks of coaching, right? I just want to tell you that. So if you were to reach out to me, I would talk to you. Sometimes I talk to men for an hour, just understanding, learning about what they know, what they don't know, how much time they're understanding, right? I judge their level of intensity. I don't want to take anyone on if I don't feel that they're ready, right? And I certainly am not going to go on a 12-week journey. And again, I have to make a guess if that's not what you need. I'd rather just have you do 3 sessions, and then if we extend it, we extend it, right? So I talk to everybody. Sometimes I talk to men for an hour just to tell them, look, you just need to do this, this, and this, and this. I won't even go on the journey with them. So I got to talk to everybody. Believe it or not, although the basic organizing principles of building muscle, losing body fat are the same, there are certain conditions when you're older, right? When your body isn't strong, you have joint pain, or you can't eat the same way, or your level of understanding, right? Okay. But the organizing principle is the same, but a person's level of commitment. For some men, man, I just need to straighten them out a couple things. And they have the knowledge, and they certainly have the dedication. They don't need me every single week to keep them accountable, right? They may need me for a few weeks as they're doing, hey, am I doing this right? So they're more certain, right? So everybody's different. I got to talk to everybody. I talk to everybody. I learn all about you before I even go on any type of coaching journey at all, whether it's 1 session or 12 weeks. Okay, I'm not on any cycle. By the way, I'm a former 6-time national champion drug-free bodybuilder. I'm not on TRT now, and I've never been on TRT. All right. I think somebody else asked me, what's my testosterone cycle? It's only on TikTok, at least right now. It's only on TikTok where men are obsessed with TRT. And if you don't even know what that is the men on Facebook, the men on on YouTube, the men who follow my website, they don't even know what TRT is, testosterone replacement therapy. Synthetic hormones, your testosterone levels, to what degree, how much do you really even need to build muscle and lose body fat at your age? They decrease as you age. I think everybody knows that. All right. So this takes over for your natural production, whatever it is. And it's synthetic hormones that you'll have for the rest of your life. All right. That's what TRT is. Again, for Facebook and YouTube and people on my email list who don't even know what that is. But on TikTok, man, they're scrolling through all the time, right? From 35 and up, all you hear is TRT, TRT, TRT. You got to be on TRT. So the men on TikTok are hypnotized, one video at a time, one scroll at a time, that they have to be on TRT. It's implanted in their head, right? Where that's not the case. I'm swimming upstream because I'm the only one that say, well, wait a second, before this TRT, before synthetically pumping yourself with that, that's going to take over your production. They're going to have to be this for the rest of life. Wait, so let's think about what we're doing. First of all, what is more muscle, less body fat even going to do for you? Do you want to do all that? All right. Because most men, I tell you, once they do TRT, it's really about the energy, the aggressiveness, fighting anxiety and depression. That's what testosterone. It's like a mental life enhancing drug more than it is about building muscle, losing body fat. Maybe going in, they think that building more muscle and losing body fat is going to improve the quality of your life. That's all of us when we train. When we look better in the mirror, we're going to have all this confidence and we're going to have an amazing life. That's most of us when we start training. This is going to do something. But what you'll understand, you may have put on more muscle easier or lose body fat easier, but you're just a little bit higher on the rung. Nobody looks in the mirror and says, I'm there. A lot of you have been training for a year. You're training for 5 years, you look massively different. You look so much more improved than you were a year ago, when you were 5 years ago. And if you compare yourself to a year ago, you'd be so grateful. But is that the case? No, you're striving for more. So TRT, if it helps you build muscle and lose body fat, and that's not always the case either, right? You're just higher up the rung, but you're still in the pursuit, all right? So building muscle, losing body fat, I'm not sure that's going to make you happy anyway, as you might think. And whether you take TRT, testosterone replacement or not, you got to learn how to train, right? You got to understand how this works to be effective and efficient with your efforts in the gym and stimulate the muscle building process. And most important, you got to understand this nutrition. You got to understand the standards you got to live by to reach your goals, right? And you got to be consistent with it. Eating is a big part of this. And whether you're on TRT or not, you got to understand those things. They have nothing to do with TRT or not, right? And so I just let's get that under control. You might reach all your goals. You might be lean enough, big enough, feel more certain, less frustrated without the TRT, and you don't have to go that route. That's not everybody. Maybe you want to go ahead and do that. You're a big boy making those choices yourself. But if you're big enough, you're lean enough, you like what you're doing in the mirror, seeing in the mirror, right? You're happy with the quality of your life, right? That may not be the route. It isn't like everybody who goes on TRT is ecstatic. They don't come back on, hey, remember I was that guy saying, hey, TRT is the greatest thing in the world. They don't come back and tell you the downside and say, hey, well, I know I told you it was great, but it wasn't good, or this happened to me, or whatever. There's risk involved. You should check that out. But they're not going to come out. It's just all positive. Like, why would you even do it, right? There's nothing in life like that way, and you got to make informed decisions, right? Todd Zubio, thank you so much for the follow. Any follow-up questions on TRT from my perspective, for whatever that's worth? All right, let me know. Robert Lacey, thank you so much for the follow. Hey, thank you so much for likes. Keep on tapping that screen over on TikTok. I love those likes. I appreciate those likes. It draws more men just like you to watch this show every time we go live. Thank you for the gift, Wilma, over on TikTok. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, guys, let's see here. Yeah, so Amber's, I don't like what I'm seeing in the mirror. You're not alone. You're not alone. If you're sick and tired, reach out to me. Certainly follow. Visit Skip LaCour often. At least start the process. All right. There are a lot of men who they built great lives. They have people who love them. They did what it took to support their family, raise a family, be the leader of their family. They've done that with their business, working 18 hours a day for years. Build great wealth, build a strong business, all the ups and downs that go along with it, all the stress, being responsible not only to make a living for themselves and their family, what they were doing, their efforts have supported other families in for years. It isn't like you've just been wasting your time, but you just didn't spend that time in the gym in the earlier part of your life. All right. And they've never really liked the way that they've looked, but there's only so much willpower, focus, energy, and time. And that's just how they allocated it. Right. So they're a winner in so many ways. Right. But when they look at their body, it's not congruent with who they think they are. I get it. Now is the time. Now is the time to take action. It isn't as complicated if you have someone to help you sort through what's important, what's not. And I want to help you do that. Thank you so much for those likes. Keep on tapping that screen and make sure you follow. If you want this type of information and inspiration, take your body, now that you're a little bit older, to a higher level. I'm here to help you do that. You're the first person I talk to every morning. I also do come on through different parts of the day, depending on my schedule. I'll pop in And what you'll see too, confidence for older men. We talk about fitness, but broaden the scope of the life, our plight, our journey, all the ups and downs that we go through as an older man. We look at life differently. If that sounds familiar, I'm going to have guests, right? We're going to talk about our experiences as older men and fitness, how that all works in. And that show is going to be nightly. And I'm going to have it just like this every single morning. I come to you at this time for and have that type of consistency as I develop the show Confidence for Older Men. Fitness first, but we'll branch out, talk about some interesting topics. We'll kind of follow the news, what's popular in the news, tied into our experiences as older men. All right. So a talk show for older men, a life bolstering, positive energy for older men. That's going to be coming up with guests. All right, talking to experts and talking about fun, entertainment over on TikTok. It's going to come at night. So does that sound, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, does that sound interesting to you? Because I'm pumped up about that, right? I understand that we build muscle, we lose body fat to look better in the mirror, but there's a bigger purpose to all this, gaining more control of our life, more optimism, lengthen our life, because we're not done yet. We want to make more of an impact. We got to make more of an impact on our family. We're not done yet. All right. You got to keep that mindset up. Does that show Confidence for Older Men? We're leading with fitness, but branching off, following current events. Does that sound as interesting to you as it does to me? If not, that's fine. Stick around here. Stick around the sets and reps, but let me know. I'm excited about it. Let's see. Robert Lacey, been doing lower weight for 4 sets of 25 reps, trying to lower body fat. All right, everybody listen. That's an awesome question. Okay, Robert Lacey, a lot of effort. It's broken down. He's got it all lined up. But you're doing this all wrong, right? Not, you're going to get results, but what you're doing is totally inefficient. It's not, again, so what I want to help, you're driven, you're going to the gym, that's what you've come up with, that plan, and you're going to put your effort into that, right? You're committed. I have total respect for you. But this goes to show how confusing it would be, right? And that's a total inefficient use of your willpower, focus, and intent. Let me break this down for you, right? So you've been doing lower weight for 4 sets of 25 reps. Okay, let's break that down, okay? To make one set effective, right? So you're not wasting your time. And what are you doing a set for? It's to build muscle, right? Now, I assume you're doing lower weight to prevent injury, or because you've heard that doing more reps is better and more reps will keep you safe, but you got to do it with lighter weight. So you're doing more reps, and or you believe that 25 sets, all that movement is going to lower your body fat, right? Seems to make sense, right? If I do 8 to 10 reps with heavier weight, probably takes me twice as long to get 25. All of that movement stacked over 4 sets, I'd probably burn 18 more calories. I'm losing body fat. Or is that movement cutting through the body fat, the man boobs? I'm not sure what the thinking is. It's very common, but that's not how it works. Weight training is to build muscle, right? Whether you use lighter weight and you go to 25 or so reps, or you do heavier weight because you can't, or you don't feel comfortable, you're not skilled, or you have joint pain, or whatever the reason is. You do more weight, all right, and then you just say 8 to 10 reps. Doesn't matter. At the end of that set, that 25th rep, you got to push it. It's got to feel heavy, even though it was easier to handle lighter weight on the rack. Heavy weight, same thing. It's gonna feel heavy at the end, no matter what weight you start with. Obviously, you use lighter weight to really feel that failure, to really push it. That one set, you can't average, your effort over 22 sets or even 15 or 12. You can't do an average. It's only that one that matters, right? So you got to be pushing it on that 25th rep to make it work, to really get the most out of that one set. And workout is just getting the most out of the one set, stacking those one sets, not averaging it out in your mind. If you average workout, I could have done more than 25. I was so light, I could have done 27. If you average your workout, it's like you're not going to get anything out of it, all right? But that's total inefficient use of your energy. All right. If you could have done 27, 28, you should have done 27, 28. You don't just stop at 25. Right. So if you start understanding that, is 25 the number? 25, because it's more, it's not going to burn body fat, Robert. So you got to remember that. You know what helps you lose the body fat? Your diet, being in calorie deficit, understanding that. Right. Sometimes eating more food, doing it gradually lose body fat. Not by more reps, not 4 sets opposed to 2 sets of an exercise. That's not it. Weight training is to overload muscle to build muscle primarily. Right? We're not a performance athlete or anything like that. All right. So, do whatever you feel comfortable with. And here's the other thing. You don't just stop at 25 reps. Well, Skip, yeah, sometimes though I don't. Sometimes I feel like quitting at 22, but I keep on going because I set the goal of 25. And I get that 23rd, get that 24th, get that 25th, but I don't get that 25th. I'm gonna die trying, so to be safe, of course. Sometimes I'll get 24, but I'm pushing it to get that 25th. I go, that's how every set should feel. So those first couple where you breeze to 25 and just put it down, inefficient sets, right? So when you understand that all those reps don't burn muscle, and all those reps you better feel tired. Now you can see if I can do more weight, might as well hurry up and get it done in 8 to 10. Whatever you feel safely, do more weight, feel that failure to 8 to 10 rather than do all these sets at 25, right? Here's the other thing. You need a rep range, not just stop at 25. You can't have what I call the 3 sets of 10 mentality. You can't just shoot for 10 reps and hit 10 reps, even though I could have done 15 or 12, but I stopped at 10, right? And yeah. You fight. Sometimes you want to quit at 8, but you get to 10. All of them should be that way. You need to have a rep range so you can play with the weight, gradually progressive overload, do that dance, do that game, right? So sometimes you're using a weight and you get 10. Sometimes you raise weight, but you get 8 or 9. You still were successful because you're in the rep range. So you can go by feel and put that, not just stop or this predetermined amount, because that's just a predetermined amount. Maybe you could do more, maybe you could do less. Have a rep range and make it like 3. A lot of guys, well, yeah, I do have a rep range from 15 to 20. That's too high of a range, right? Learn how to live within a 3 rep range. That's how you build muscle. That's how you effectively train, right? And then again, you don't burn body fat by volume of reps, number of reps, volume of exercise, length of workout. I mean, you would think, hey, I got to burn more calories. I went on this app and I said, I ate this many calories, and I guesstimate I did this much activity, 500 calories. You know what? Just forget about the activity, how much it's burning, right? Just forget about that. You're not burning enough calories, even with cardio, right? Let your diet determine your ability to lose body fat. Now you know, well, Skip, but I did a lot of walking. Doesn't measure that way. Directionally, that may be true, but if you go to the next level, your body it's interesting. Your body will neutralize all that activity. You'll become more efficient. You're not burning as much calories with that walk, with those calories. Now it'll still stack up, right? But the calories that it burns, it diminishes. Where when you start eating enough food and you do it day after day, man, and you get that metabolism optimized, you actually burn more calories by eating more food as you optimize your and it just builds momentum. But you got to know what you're doing. You got to be consistent. You got to understand how that works. Chumkella, thank you for the follow. Step 9. Thank you for the follow. SD Mitchell, thank you for the follow. Thank you so much for those likes there too. James, thank you for the follow. All right, guys. Does that make sense, Robert? And again, I understand that you hear all this information, try to put it together the best you can. And now I'm here trying to talk to you specifically from this. You wrote a very short sentence, right? Been doing lower weight for 4 sets of 25 reps, trying to lower body fat, right? So it's just 2 small sentences, and I'm trying to rewire how it really works. I probably talked for 8 minutes, all right, 10 minutes, right? Just on one sentence. I understand how confusing this is. I hope I'm talking to you from the 2 sentences. Again, that's why I love the one-on-one coaching. So you can get this understood forever. Reach out to me again. Let me just, I know you guys are sick and tired. I know most of you guys are the type of men who just attack this. You don't dilly-dally around and hope you figure it out. I mean, you're 55 years old. How many years do you have through trial and error, right? So if you're the type of man who does what it takes to get what he wants, just reach out to me. Again, I take about 3 or 4 throughout the day. That's a way to get a hold of me. We'll talk for 10 or 15 minutes, whatever it takes. I'll help you zero in. I'll make sure. I couldn't go back and forth with Robert. He says, yes, sometimes I can't finish the 25. Okay, but sometimes you can't finish the 25. What, 20, 19? Then you're not doing a good job of guessing. And you need to do that for progressive load. There has to be a measure of weight versus reps so you get better. You can't just sometimes, shoot for 25 and you pick the weight and you only get 17. Too much. There's a way to narrow this down for a measurable progressive overload and be efficient. But reach out. All right. So text me at the number on the screen, 925-352-4366. Right. Then go to Talk with Skip. Right. Fill out that questionnaire. I got this questionnaire filled out. I have a picture of you. Again, when you text me, you send a picture. I've got everything I need by you setting the table for me perfectly like that. So when we're on the phone, I can effectively and efficiently use your willpower, focus, energy, and time, and my own. Right. But a lot of this stuff, and I don't really mean this in a negative way, but it takes so much trial and error. Many men never figure it out. It isn't like all their reps don't, and all their sets and what they're doing doesn't help. But to get to the level they want, there has to be a little deeper level of understanding. It's not like it makes it more difficult, but you got to know which buttons to push and in what intensity to figure out this all. It's not like you don't have all the ground covered. For example, the biggest one, I don't know what level you're at, but the next level for most men after they've done the working out and kind of watching with you, to get that higher level, the emphasis should be put on your diet, even if it's work, even if you think you know what you're doing, even if you look better than most. If you want to go to that higher level, it's probably in your eating habits, right? Your standards, all in your eating habits. That's going to take you to that, not the workout, right? But what does that mean? Well, everybody's an individual. That's why, talking it out. So reach out to me, guys. I want to help you. I want to end this confusion. Don't go the next 2 years. Don't go the next 6 months with not figuring it out and inefficiently. Again, I'm not one of those guys say, oh, you're doing it all wrong. You're wasting all your time. You're not getting any benefit. I'm not saying that, right? But I'm saying is that what you're doing is never going to get to where you want at the level that you want. It's not going to do it. All right? I wish I could tell you differently, but it's not going to do it. Like I said, I got many ways to help you reach your goal. I take men on 12-week transformations. You can check that out at skiplacour.com /transformation. All right, check that out. All right, I line it out. That's when you go on an intense, thorough journey, total immersion, where I coach you, I guide you. Make sure you have the right sentence for a long enough period of time, because after 12 weeks, you'll have all this down for the rest of your life. You won't even have to get on TikTok looking for information. If you want to be entertained, maybe see what's new and exciting, maybe for more mental inspiration to keep going, but to rely on the key strategy, you won't even need to do that anymore. You'll understand how it all works. Thank you so much for the likes. Keep on tapping that screen, liking that screen over on TikTok. And thank you so much for the follow. You'll be alerted every time we go live. I go live if you're new here. Let me know if you're new here. You're welcome, Robert. You're welcome for the comments. I'm glad that's helpful. Reach out to me if you want a little follow-up to make sure that maybe you understood that correctly. I don't want you to waste your time and energy when all it takes is a little bit of adjustment to elegantly use your willpower, focus, and energy and time. I certainly don't want you to have to go through all the frustration and the confusion and the overwhelm. All right. Michael Lambert, thank you for the follow. Jackson, thank you for the follow. High reps work great for Dexter Jackson and had one of the most successful and longest careers. Okay, so what does that mean? What does that mean? Why do you? Okay, right? So, so how, so if you use high reps, does that negate everything I say? Are you Dexter Jackson? You have the genetics of Dexter. One thing you need to understand too is that um, there are a lot of ways to get from point A to point B. All right. Uh, Dexter Jackson might have used high reps, but he might be a mental stud, becoming one of the best in the world. Yeah. His high reps, he may be able to do high reps and use, I don't know, 33% more weight because of his mental toughness than the average guy. The other guy uses high reps, they may not be able to use weight. And I don't want to talk about all the other stuff like genetics, small bone structure, shape, you know, uh, that a bodybuilding contest, okay, is a beautiful presentation. Dexter Jackson has beautiful shape. He's done to master his shape, but uh, shape of muscles, symmetry, right? Height, more people, bodybuilders can put less muscle on and look better, right? So there's a lot of other factors, right? Besides shape, there are guys who may know way more in bodybuilding, right? Maybe more efficient. And again, one thing that I want to tell you is that there's a lot of ways to get from point A to point B, right? Did one thing I said to Robert, I said, it's not like you're not getting any benefit. Do you remember me saying that? So you can tell me what someone can say. I ate, rocks, and I and they looked ripped, right? Or I did high reps and I got ripped. Sometimes, it wasn't the reps that did it. You may think it was the reps. They may know it was their diet, right? So this doesn't always equal that. And I want to be very clear on something, right? I know a lot of times when you're listening to fitness influencers, and they say, don't do high reps, do low reps, or vice versa, whatever it is, eat this way and not this way. And you get the impression, or they give you the impression, they intentionally believe that the way they're telling you is a 10 out of 10. That is optimal, science-based, the only way to do it. And if you're doing it the other way, you get zero benefit at all. You're just wasting your time. Any fitness influencer who tells you that it's all or nothing the way you do it, right? If your form isn't exactly perfect, but you still got 50 pound up, you're getting zero benefit. That's not true, right? That's not true because think about it. Every single one of them, right, did not start off perfect. They'll tell you, oh, I learned this over 35 years of training. I did it this way and it worked to a certain extent, but then I learned this way, this way, this way. Nobody started doing every facet of this perfectly, but somehow they got here until they did learn the right way. They're trying to tell you, the right way to speed up the process for you. But every single one of them didn't start doing everything perfect. So what they did had some benefit until they found what they believe is the optimal way to do it. So one thing I want to be clear of, and I was clear on that, you missed that, Michael, is that it isn't like you're not getting any benefit, but this is a more effective and efficient way to do it, right? There's a lot of factors besides the rep screen that made Dexter Jackson an amazing champion, right? Because here's another example to kind of do your logic. Okay, he'll be the first one to tell you he took steroids, right? Okay, so is that the only factor that made him a champion? The steroids? Can you take? Well, you're a drug-free bodybuilder. Dexter Jackson took steroids, so well, it's just one factor. All right, can't pull out one without putting all the other ones. Not everyone will benefit from what? Some exercises I go for 6x6, some I go for 4x10, and others I'll go 2 for 25. Depends on what I want to progress. Okay. Any suggestions for someone just getting started? Well, I don't know exactly, where you are in the process. Right. I don't know exactly where you are in the process, but if your goal is you got 50 pounds too much body fat, what I would suggest to get started is just walk, just start getting active, put exercise, even if it's just walking, start working into your life. I mean, later on, you might, you know, go to a gym, right? We can always build on it. I don't know where you are in the process, right? So start budgeting time for exercise, whatever exercise that is, all right? It could be just walking right now to get started. The biggest thing to lose that 50 pounds, if that's what you have, all right, is your diet. So you got to start understanding, how much food you're eating, all right? And again, you're not going to have to count calories every single day or measure food or take around containers of food. I'm not saying that, but you got to have some understanding of how much food you take in, all right? Is it 3,000? Is it 1,000? All right. Uh, that would be the first thing. I would suggest that you get the free app, MyFitnessPal. All right. Get the free version of it and use the library more than anything. It's a very easy way to start tracking the foods. Even if you're 50 pounds overweight, you probably are in the same patterns, eating the same foods in the same amount. Not all the time, but I don't know, 20% of the time, 50% of the time. So tracking the calories to get an idea of how much food you're eating, that's not going to be hard. It's a big step for a lot of men. A lot of men have been training for 20 years and they have no idea how many calories they they don't understand why they can't lose that last 10 pounds of body fat. All right. You need to know what you're doing right now to make the adjustments to get to the next level. So for you, just get an idea. I'm not even saying change your diet. If you want to start doing what is cleaning up your diet, healthier foods, or don't eat so much, you want to instinctively do that, that's fine. But get an idea first. So just work it into your schedule, and then get an idea of how many calories that you're eating. That's a place to start. Believe it or not, it's that simple. And then, again, I don't know if I started too far too far away from you. That's why, if guys want to reach out to me, I'll start on your specific spot. When you fill out that question, you'll know, and I'll know what your specific spot, and then I can efficiently. See, I don't know, was that too far below when you talked about just starting? Everybody has different starting points, but I hope that's helpful. Yes, RQ Motorcycles. All right. I suggest that, because what I do is not just, target from men or lifestyle and all the stories, analogy, all the fillers that put the meaning on it. As a teacher, it's not just the sets and reps in the workout, right? And the diet. It's really the relatability to the stories, the metaphors. A lot of times, I've worked with hundreds of men. I can tell you their experience, their thought, their jobs, their journey as a man to do all the fillers to create more understanding. All right. A lot of times it may be perfectly fit, that story, that analogy of that man, what he's going through, his stress level, his job. It may be totally something that a woman can take and learn from. But because it doesn't fit her story, it's more distracting. Well, like I said, if I were to, talk about reps or this or that, where a guy on steroids, let's say, he may be doing it right. But if I were to use him as an example, well, it would be distracting with that person. Well, he uses steroids and I don't. He's on TRT and I don't. It'd be distracting. Or it could be the opposite. Well, you're a drug-free bodybuilder and you tell me how drug-free bodybuilders are. I'm on TRT. All right, take SARMs. And then it'll create doubt if that workout program, that eating program is for you. So when I talk, it's not just older men. It's older men that's busy, productive. I'm not a guy who's okay training for 7 days of gym, 2 hours a day. Because they say, well, that sounds good, but I don't want less time in the gym. All right. Will this work for me? It just creates doubt. So I don't have all the stories, metaphors, relatability to women. So that communication isn't as effective. So that's why I just focus. I just really have mastered explaining to men, older, busy, productive life. All right. So there are so many great women out here. I'm scrolling through my screen that will be more relatable and to be a better coach for a woman than me. All right. I know that right from the very beginning. So I don't take on any clients who I know I can't help. I still have to guess where they are, what they want, what they're doing. Howdy, Robert. Great to have you there. So I hope that's helpful. Thank you. You're welcome, SG Motorcycles. Hey, Facebook and on YouTube. If you're watching this replay version, again, TikTok, this is on my YouTube channel. Skip Cour every single day. If you're coming in and out, scrolling through, I just showed up on your For You page. All right, there are replay versions to all of these shows on my YouTube channel, and that's at Skip Cour. All right. Make sure you tap that screen. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the gifts too. Keep on tapping that screen. Walking 30 minutes a day. So Michael makes a good point. He goes, so he's talking about trial and error, and he's talking about different approaches, and that trial and error. Trial and error. If you put all the different factors, you could train your workout, and that could work or could not work, or whatever, however you would evaluate that. But if it doesn't support it by the right diet, the right intensity on that diet, you're really not getting a true measure of what the workout is really doing, right? So, and I get it, like if someone is fixed into, I don't know, doing heavier weight, fewer reps, that works for me. They lock in it because it works. They may not be to the level that they want, but they really believe that training works for them, right? There are certain organizing principles that are universal if you're younger, older, somewhere in between. You got good genetics or bad genetics, or somewhere in between. You're a man or a woman. There's certain organizing principles. It's just the way the body works. Now, again, some might be optimal 10 out of 10, not undeniable. But some may not be, but it's good, solid 8.5. You love doing it. You're comfortable with it. You understand it. You think it isn't like you're not getting any benefit. And because there's more facets to all the, it's training, nutrition, yes, but it's consistency over time, right? Those things matter. The standards that you're doing things at, everybody isn't, they may have the same workout, same diet, but they don't live at the same standards, and they're going to get a different result. So there's more things to this. And my thing is, what are the organizing principles that everybody needs to adhere to? And what are the standards that you need to do that? Right? Because I'm just throwing this out, 80% is the same. 20% is the thing that's trial and error and what works best for you. And I'm not talking what's best for you, you emotionally, you just feel more comfortable with it. I'm talking about that fits with your schedule, I don't know, your ability to build muscle, whatever it is, your metabolism, whatever. 80% of this is the same. What I want to help you do is find that 80%. So the trial and error part isn't a whole random every factor, just maybe 20% of the factors. Right? A lot of us will, there's not enough time with all the trial and error. All right. Your thoughts on pre-workout shakes? My kids got me on some non-stim pre-workout. Okay. Well, let me ask you. So I don't know much about the non-stimulant pre-workouts. I do know that pre-works are mostly stimulants, mostly caffeine, and that's what you feel. That's what you pump with the workout. Now, all the other stuff in it doesn't do this to the body, does this, and it aids in this way. Are you even feeling that? Are you seeing that? Or is it the stimulant very, very heavy? If it didn't have that stimulant, would you know it's working? Or are you just taking that leap of faith? So when you have you tell me this, a non-stimulant pre-workout, do you feel anything? Or are you taking a leap of faith that the ingredients in there are helping with recover or whatever it is? Do you feel nothing with the pre-stimulant? It's just a leap of faith that's affecting your workout. Is the nutrients what makes it a pre-workout if it doesn't? There's no stimulant. I'm just curious, right? I'm 43, 3-year male, and it started on a Mediterranean and gluten-free eating pattern thoughts. That'll work. Again, every diet work really quickly if you don't eat too much. You don't eat too little. Talked about that. And when you find that right amount, you're consistent with it over time. And you have the expectation of what's going to happen to your body and when. You have the right expectations of what this diet will do for you. Those 4 factors will make any diet work, whether it's a carnivore diet, intermittent fasting, all right, Mediterranean diet, regular bodybuilding, bro diet, or whatever. They all have those factors that make them work. Now, they all have a different feature. Like, I like this approach. No carbs makes sense to me. Oh, being this ketosis thing makes sense to me. All right, you can be in ketosis, you can lose body fat, you can build muscle, and not be on a keto diet. All right, or there are variations closely enough of the same things. There are not this gigantic distinction between the two. So it's what you feel comfortable with. Maybe you have some social proof. You know somebody, a lot of rave reviews, because it has that social proof and you believe it. You're much likely to follow through on a higher level. You're more likely to follow through on a higher level for a longer period of time. Uh, you can make any training routine or diet work with that sense of certainty. You'll find a way to make it work. Also, will you make recommendations on gear and peptide therapy that go along with the nutrition and exercise? Don't know anything. I don't have any experience. I don't even pretend to know things that I put no effort in. I won't even know. So I would not be the coach for you. My concierge MD started me on test booster for 3 months and then switched me to injectable thoughts. Well, I'm sure you know your situation. You have faith in your doctor. Take the recommendation. I don't know your particulars. Your doctor does. And you have invested. So I'm going to trust that you made a good decision knowing your factors and the recommendations you took for your doctor. How can I connect with you? All right. Hey, I appreciate the questions. Let me go ahead and post this again. And really, I do this. I'm trying to, give you a train of thought that's different than all this confusing. Say, you're not alone. Let's just start there. Help you understand there's organizing principles that make any training program and every diet work. If you feel that you're either on or off, it's black or white, you're getting that impression, some fitness influencers telling you that, or that's what you're thinking. It's not that. It's to make this simple, effective, and sustainable now that you're a little older and busy, productive life. Now, how that works with you specifically, see, that's where, that's where that next level is, right? Okay. And that's for everybody. Look, when you're older, if you've been training for a year and you're consistent in whatever training strategy you're consistent with your eating, you're going to make improvements. It will take you 6 months or less at 55, 60 years old to work out on a consistent, even if you're not doing everything right, just directionally right. You're going to look better than 80%. And this is in most cases, the men out there who are 55, 60. 80%, just 6 months of dedication, right? Now that's not good for you, but that's not such a great compliment. And the reason why is because most men don't work out. But you're in the top 20% of human beings on the planet your age. But usually when you take it that far, that's not enough. If I'm going to go this far, I can be in the top 5%. I want to be the top 5 in the business. I want to be top 5% in sports. And what do I have to do? All right, this top 20%, thank you so much for the compliment, but I want more. I've gone this far. What do I have to do? See, that's where you kind of need to know what you're doing. And you can do it through trial and error over the next 5 years. And now you're 65 years old. Now you finally figured that out. Or you can find someone who can talk you through it through one-on-one coaching. That's what I do for driven, ambitious men who know what they want, got to that 20%. They want to get to that 20% and higher. And what they do for a living, they're an expert at what they do. So when someone comes to them and they're trying to figure it out themselves, they're going, how are you trying to figure it out yourself? You've done this twice. I've done it 14 times before lunch, right? Right. It's an ineffective use of time and energy. You could figure it out. You could get it mostly right. You can use trial and error for the next 5 years, or, you can invest in some information and time and rethink and validate what you're doing, make the adjustments, get some certainty, and then just have results right away, right? So it's what everybody wants. Everybody has their own approach to doing all this. But this is how you get a hold of me. And I take a few men, every single day when I do this show in the morning. All right, step 1, right? You text me at the number on the screen. Say hello. Text me your picture. Whatever you feel comfortable is fine. I get a picture. A picture does indeed tell me 1,000 words, right? That's all you do. You don't need to tell me your story quite yet, because step number 2 is go to talkwithskip.com. It's going to take you over to my skipthecore.com website. You're going to fill out that questionnaire. You'll have clarity on exactly what it is you need, what you've been doing, how important this is to you, and a lot of other things. gym, how long you've been training, right? Things you've done in the past. I get a clear picture of where you are. So, and again, most men don't waste their time, and they're respectful of my time. If they're not ready, they won't do all this. So it isn't like I just get 50 of these a day and I'm spending 10 times 50. And no, it's just for the most committed. All right. So I in 10 or 15 minutes, I can get you clear, validate what you're doing so you can move forward with certainty, make the adjustments so you can move forward with conscious. But what I'll really do is a lot of men, they're doing it right, but their time frame on how much fat they can lose in a certain period of time or how much muscle they can build. It's wildly, I appreciate the ambition, but it's not going to happen that way no matter what anybody told you, especially when you do it in a sustainable manner. A lot of times that's the biggest value from my experience, not just my personal experience, but helping out someone, then is give you a realistic time frame when you do it this way at these standards, when you can expect results. You may be doing it right, your training program may be right on, you're switching around. That's not even what it is. Your diet, you need to put more energy on it. It's not good enough. You need to raise those standards. So what you do, you're more efficient with you. That's going to be the key. So that's the way to get a hold of me. Take a few men every single day, and then I can you can go from there. All right. Well, thank you for asking. Thank you so much for the likes. Thank you so much for the follows. All right, all right, all right. Okay. I'm 47 years old. What's a recommendation of sets? Should I do my abs? You know, how many sets you do for a particular set will be based on your goals. Like many men will say, look, I don't want to be a bodybuilder, right? I just want to look good, feel good. I want to lose this 40 pounds. I want to be healthy and fit. Or there's some older men who do want to be a body. They want to put in as much muscle as humanly possible. So, you know, it's going to really depend on your goals. Right? Most men probably can do a lot less sets, a lot less time in the gym because they really just want to get lean and fit. If they gain some muscle, that's fine. So that's going to be a different person. So that's number one, your goals. But number two, it's your level of understanding, your level of intensity. How does it feel when you put that set down? Did you really challenge yourself? Are you really a gamer? You know, I've got two kids at almost 62 years old. My daughter will be turning 11. My son is 9. We play a lot of sports, put a lot of mindset into sports. They do very well in sports. Um, my son, who does well in sports, he's just a whole different animal, right? I mean, he's just got that dog. He just has this competitive spirit that just augments all of his ability, right? That you just don't see. So whatever area, he's always like the best athlete, but it's his mindset. And you know, so everybody doesn't have to have that mindset to be a good athlete, right? But if you do, it'll take everything you do to a higher level. And why I'm saying that is everybody doesn't attack the weights the same. Some people just have that dog in them. All right. They're determined, I can do this. And they push the progressive over the higher and higher levels faster. Or some are just doing 3 sets of 10 and 5 different exercises. And they're okay with that. No one has explained to them what progressive overload is and what intensity is. They're working hard, but it's a very milk toast. They're looking at the whole workout, surviving whole. That's not how you do this when you want to build muscle with the fewest amount of sets and exercises, the few time training it per week. Right? You can't attack it that way. So if you don't have that understanding, that's going to really determine how many sets you should do. Right? What I would suggest is that, you know, I've got workout routines, but most men, they'll look at that's not enough volume, that's not enough time or attention. They're using their logic that made them a great real estate agent into working out. And so if you don't believe it, that it would work, and you don't build that intensity and knowledge and master it with intensity in mind, then it won't be enough. Right? So there's too many factors. So find a rep scheme, a workout. There are thousands of them on the internet. Well, that makes sense to you, at least for now. And then just get better and better at what you do. Now you have a level of understanding, right? Maybe you'll know what to shoot for, what this intensity thing really feels like, what it is, if it's even important to you, and then build from there. Right? How do you know when you are at a comfortable body fat percentage? Is it mostly visual? It is visual. It is visual. I hate using body fat percentages actually when I'm helping men evaluate their progress. I really don't like using that because you can use a number that they don't feel is complimentary. And they say, I look better than that. That number is too high in their mind. They still look the same way in the mirror, but that number is too high. I see it a lot the opposite, where somebody looks good, don't get me wrong, but that body fat percentage that they're quoting, that's way too low. And I don't care what a DEX scan, I don't know what these scales said. So it's really irrelevant. It's you either are happy with the way you look in the mirror, your degree of leanness, or you're not. And if you're not, what does it take to whatever number that is to get leaner? If you are happy, then it doesn't matter. Those numbers could really throw you off, especially they're not as accurate as some people think. Does morning cardio put you in a deficit first thing in the morning? I know that talk, and you don't even hear that talk a lot um, in the fitness world. But the deeper you get into it, you got to talk about more and more things. That's not a game changer. You're a man who's a little bit older with a busy, productive life. Those are details. Those are things that don't matter. I would bring you back to the things that matter. Maybe true, maybe not true. It may be true, maybe not true. All right. But that's something that isn't important. I would bring you back to the basics on that. You're welcome, Aladdin. I hope that was helpful. Let's see here. Let me answer a few more of your questions here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the likes. Thank you so much for the follows, guys. Back and bias, test and try, legs, shoulders. Will that split be okay? Yeah, that split is fine. It's really about, again, the things we talked about, the amount of intensity. Thank you so much for the likes. Thank you so much for the follows. All right, guys. All right, so we talked a lot about today's shows. What are all the things we talked about? We talked about intensity and training. We talked about diet. All right. Talked about losing the body fat. Talked about that there are certain organizing principles that make it work for everybody. But the difference is to get to the level is all the other. I hope I showed empathy that it's not easy. It's not easy. Sorting this information out so you're not alone, and maybe even the reasons why. Right? And again, what another big takeaway is that there isn't always a right or wrong way. There may be optimal, a 10 out of 10, but that does not mean the way you're doing it. Even if your form is exactly right on exercise or your diet isn't exactly that way, it isn't what you're doing is a 0 out of 10. Who knows, the science, even if that science is correct, even if the opinion is correct, that their way is optimal, that doesn't mean yours is a 0 out of 10. Right? So don't let that clog with uncertainty. Try that other way, but it may be the difference. What you're doing is an 8 out of 10 and not a 10 out of 10. And you want to maybe use a 10 out of 10, but don't let it totally demoralize you, disempower you, like you're doing it all wrong. And that may not be what the influencer is saying. You can't go back and forth with them. Maybe some of they are saying them, maybe not. I followed you a lot when I was younger. Can't believe we're having a conversation with Skip LaCour. Well, thank you so much for being here. One thing I love about TikTok, it's really connecting with people who haven't even seen me in 20 years. I have been doing this, probably every single day in the last 20 years, though. So we're Redeem. You know what I like, Redeem? You're new on YouTube. So you were scrolling through TikTok and then my live showed up because I know that YouTube is going to start doing that. Facebook is start doing that. They're going to follow the lead of TikTok. So you're just scrolling through. I've never seen you before, but you are in phenomenal shape. Something to be very proud of. Respect. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. I want Redeem. I want this to be helpful to you. Over 1770 says these younger guys don't realize how big of a leverage skip is. Well, you know what? It's all about helping you, right? So it's not about me, my body. So it's all the knowledge that I learned winning those 6 national drug-free bodybuilding. God, is what I learned, what's right, what's wrong, and what you're doing at this age. So if someone finds tremendous value in what I'm doing, it helps them in their journey at 55 years old or so, and they don't even know whatever accomplished in the past. Hey, my job as a coach is to help them, right? If what I've done in the past, again, you guys could do a Google search to see what I've accomplished over the last 35 years, my body at work. If that gives you more certainty and confidence to take what I'm telling you and to go forward with more certainty and confidence because of what I've accomplished in the past, credibility, right? Then that's great, right? My job is to help you. So a lot of things covered. This was a good show. I can't believe I've been on here for about an hour and a half. Sometimes it feels like 5 minutes. All right. So that's going to do it for this Workouts for Older Men Live. Reach out to me. Give you many different ways. I've got many different ways to help you reach your goals. All right. Let's take on the day with a sense of urgency. We have to when we're a little bit older. We've got more time behind us than we do in front of us. Have a great day.